I started playing music when I was in like the 7th grade or whatever. I always loved music. I loved it so much I wanted to participate in it like most of my adult life, you know? Like, I just wanted to be in a band, it sounded cool, so I got a bass guitar because that's what they told me to do.
My dad played guitar, and so did my brother, and then I took guitar lessons from like 16 to 18, and then I got good enough in those 2 years to where my guitar teacher was like, I don't really have anything else to show you, do you want to like start a band or something?
If you ask my parents, they'll tell you that I started drumming in my car seat, but it wasn't until maybe I was 14 or 15, kind of teaching myself. I've taught myself pretty much everything, just listening to bands that I like.
I grew up on a farm in Ohio, and like my grandpa had this huge barn and the acoustics were amazing, and I'd go in there and sing, but I would do it when like no one was home. I had huge stage fright. I built it up in my head to be like this terrifying thing, and then the first time we played a show, I was like high, you know what I mean? I was just like, this is awesome! As soon as I opened my mouth and started singing, all the nervousness, it just melted away, and I was like, wow, why have I waited so long to do this?
And I've been cursing at the window under a sun that always shines. 'Cause life is colorless and gray, it's always winter in my mind. Oh, I'm sick of waiting, always wishing my life away. I think it's time I pack my bags and leave this place. Oh, I have to go.
The beginnings of Honeyvoid. Well, honestly, I just expressed an interest in playing music to my friend Jonathan, who was playing and trying to find people to jam with. And it all kind of happened within like a month span. Ed was a mutual friend of ours. We knew he played guitar. We were like, come on over, let's write something, you know? And Brett was friends with Jonathan from childhood, so he moved down, and it's like, oh, we already have a drummer. Just kind of worked out that way, honestly.
Sammy I knew from a mutual friend, and so I was just playing with my room with somebody else, and we were dabbling around with some stuff, and I found out one day she could sing, because we were just friends. I was like, oh shit. So like, then we started like hanging out here and like trying to write a couple things, and then when Ed came in, it was like a different dynamic.
I've been friends with Jonathan, and he just invited me over one day, and then I came over and started playing guitar, and he was basically, you know, thought I was good, and he was like, all right, well, I want to start a band with you, and you can play guitar. It helped a lot that we already all knew each other before we started playing music together.
John and I grew up together. We went to high school, so I met him in my freshman year in guitar class, and like I said, he played bass, our other friend played guitar, and we kind of started out just dicking around. I kind of just winged it. I was like, oh, I could probably play drums. And he had a drum set at his house, so just through going over there all the time, hanging out, playing video games, playing music, whatever, I kind of taught myself.
Sammy writes all her own lyrics. She doesn't like when other people write her lyrics, so that's what she does, right? So sometimes, like occasionally we try to write around like something Sammy's made, but it becomes a lot easier for her to just like give us a theme of what this is going to be about, or like some sort of idea of like the purpose of this, and then me and Ed just work together.
When I write lyrics, they're very much in tune with my personal experiences. Being raised in church, being in that rural kind of small town vibe, and always feeling like I wanted to break free from that.
There was no roadmap given to help me navigate through life, lost inside this labyrinth that drift between the echoes of my mind. And my father cautioned me back then that balance was the key, but I can't maintain equilibrium until I've been set
I grew up on a farm, pretty religious background, was kind of, which some of that leaks into my writing too, of just like the frustration of feeling like no matter what you do, you're gonna be like wrong, you might go to hell. Like that fear was instilled in me, at a young age. So yeah, a lot of fights with my mom about my choices, about some drug use, about my sexuality. I know that was a big issue when I was a teenager because I had come out as bi, and obviously if you're living with a religious person, they're not necessarily going to want to hear that you like women too, I definitely know when I crossed a major line, like I started doing heroin and I was using intravenously, and I started prostituting, and that should have been the moment where I was like, maybe this is bad. I'm not gonna lie, there was plenty of times, especially towards the end, where I thought I shouldn't be doing this anymore, you know what I mean? Like I was just so miserable because like I didn't want to keep doing sex work, but then I would start to withdraw and I would get sick, and then the physical component of addiction would like overwhelm me to the point where I'd be like, I guess I'm gonna call like this client or set up this appointment, and like I hated doing it, you know what I mean? Especially toward the end, I was just so sick of it. But one day, I don't know what happened. It's like I was on Facebook, which is sometimes the root of all evil for me, social media. And I'm just scrolling through, and all my friends, they're graduating, they're getting engaged, they're having kids, they're buying houses, they're like doing all this amazing stuff. And I just remember looking at all that and being like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know, I got struck. Like that moment just changed everything, because I immediately called my mom, who was the last person I would have wanted to talk to a few years prior, but I called her first, and I was like, I think I'm ready to go to rehab, like I can't do this anymore. And she was so excited. I had to tell her to like tone it down. I was like, you're gonna have to, this is really hard for me. You're gonna have to take it down a notch. I know you're excited, but like, just pick me up, We just kind of called like a random number in a phone book. Yes, a phone book. And it was an 800 number, and they were like, Florida. And I'm like, yes. Cause I just, like I said, always wanted to escape Ohio. So to me, it was like the golden ticket. It was like I was gonna go to rehab and I was gonna get the hell out of here. Like, say no more. So ready to start over. And then while I was getting sober, I was so focused on just getting my life back on track. It still felt like this weird, like, emptiness. But with that, really, like, the music, I feel like helped save me in a way. And then as soon as the opportunity presented itself to do this, I just went like 100 miles per hour, you know what I mean? I was like, actually, this is what I really want to do, and I'm done being held back by my own bullshit.
Never seen the likes of you in all of my time. Didn't know when I was missing from the sweet life. Every part of me is painted when you're by my side. You make sure there's nothing left of me to disguise. Now I don't know how to feel, and I don't know the difference anymore between what is right and what is real. Oh, I could love you, oh, if you just give me the chance to. I could save you from yourself and stop you from becoming someone else. Kept you breathing when your legs were collapsing.
I was doing drugs and being crazy, and no one ever knew like what I had in my pocket, what I was gonna do there, what I was gonna take on my way out. So like, I know some people like did a lot of drugs while they were like in the music scene and stuff like that, but it was like the opposite for me. It was like my drinking and drug use caused me to not be in it anymore. So like I've been playing bass since I was like 14, but like I took like a 7-year hiatus from it, right? I thought this was like a dead dream that was never gonna come again. So when we got together, like we also had the same inspiration, because it was so cool to be able to do something like that, like 7 years later when you thought it was dead and it would never happen or anything like that. Music's always been an escape for me, but like especially like to be able to play with Sammy and like Brett and Ed and some of my best friends, like I don't know, it's just cool.
As someone for me who's made a lot of mistakes, I never regret the things that I do more than I regret the things that I don't do. So I try to keep that mentality in mind just going forward in my life. It's just like, are you gonna regret not taking this chance more than you'll regret failing? Probably. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the ride. It's better than sitting in a motel room, burning holes in the bed, watching Law and Order SVU reruns, which I did for quite some time. That sucked. This is awesome. This is great.